News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks. President Trump is touting progress in Iran and says the country will be hit very hard unless the U.S. gets unconditional surrender.
This had to be done. They were very close to a nuclear weapon. They would have had one if we didn't do our B-2 hit, Midnight Hammer. They would have had it 8 months ago. They would have had a nuclear weapon, and, they're crazy, and they would have used it. So we did the world a favor.
Earlier today on Truth Social, the president said the U.S. may target new parts of Iran as the war enters its second week. Bloomberg Washington correspondent Jeff Mason.
It's an escalation, and it's in line with what President Trump has been saying all week. Number one, that he believes that so far the U.S. and Israeli operation has been extremely successful. He also called on Iran to surrender, and they are rejecting that call. And so he is upping the ante and saying that more attacks are going to come, and saying that more areas and more groups of people are going to be targeted. And that is how I think we're learning right now President Trump runs a war.
Bloomberg's Jeff Mason on Bloomberg's This Weekend. Traders are now warning $100 oil is imminent if this war in Iran keeps raging. More on that from Bloomberg's Charlie Pellet.
Last week, we saw West Texas Intermediate crude climb above $90 a barrel. Friday, WTI surged 12.2%. A growing chorus of energy executives and traders is warning that every day that the war rages on brings the world closer to a tipping point. Ship traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has been all but halted. Executives predict that oil prices could hit $100 in days unless there is some de-escalation of hostilities. In New York, Charlie Pellet, Bloomberg Radio.
Politically, Bloomberg's Nancy Cook says this war could also be a problem for Republicans come November.
You have a bunch of MAGA voices like Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly making a lot of noise. Some Republican lawmakers are privately quite worried about this. And so, it's just another thing along with the Epstein files, along with the economy, where the base is not really happy with the job that he's doing.
Bloomberg political correspondent Nancy Cook on Bloomberg's This Weekend. A bombing at a nightclub in Peru has injured 33 people, including minors, some of which have suffered serious amputations and shrapnel wounds. Authorities say this happened overnight in a region that's been plagued by violence and crime recently. No one's claimed responsibility, but it does come less than a month after a similar blast in that same area damaged more than 24 homes. At least 8 people have been killed in tornadoes that tore through the Midwest overnight from Oklahoma to Michigan.
Oh my God. It is lifting houses off of the... Oh, my God.
That woman in Michigan caught twisters tearing apart her neighborhood. Dozens of homes there have been destroyed. Outside of Detroit, the tornado also flattened the town of Union Lake, reducing entire neighborhoods to rubble. Boeing could be close to a monster sale of commercial jets. Sources tell Bloomberg the company's closing in on a 500 aircraft order for 737 MAX jets that would be unveiled when President Trump travels to China at the end of the month. Talks are also underway for a sale of bigger wide-body jets. Customs and Border Protection says it cannot comply with the judge's order to stop processing import duties. Bloomberg's Amy Morris explains from Washington.
The Supreme Court ruled the Trump administration's emergency levies were illegal and ordered CBP to stop collecting them. And then when a federal trade court in New York saw those tariffs were still being calculated, he ordered CBP to stop. CBP officials say they can't. One official says they're working on an automated refund system, which they say should be ready for use in 45 days, but that system isn't designed to siphon out the illegal tariffs. They don't have the technology for it. So the judge, for now, has suspended that part of the order. In Washington, Amy Morris, Bloomberg Radio.
The battle between Novo Nordisk and Hims & Hers Health is over. Sources tell Bloomberg Novo plans to sell its weight loss drugs on Hims & Hers platform, and a partnership could be announced as soon as Monday. The two companies had a similar agreement last year, but Novo abruptly scrapped it after Hims refused to stop marketing and selling copycat medications. Shares of Hims & Hers soared 40% in after-hours trading. And baseball fans are getting a taste of what's to come this spring. The U.S. scoring a 15-5 win over Brazil yesterday in its World Baseball Classic opener. Umps actually had to call that game under a mercy rule in the 7th inning. The U.S. hoping for a repeat today when it takes on Britain. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks, and this is Bloomberg.